this is Zia and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another theory video inside of the lovely world theories and all that stuff. As you can probably see from the title of this video, we are answering a question whether or not the target is a psychopath. If you don't know what a psychopath is, basically it's someone who doesn't really care about doesn't feel remorse. It's like a pathological liar. Makes unnecessary risks and is very manipulative. Some people show it more than others. Some you might not even know are. But we are trying to decide whether or not his target is one of those people. This theory was originally brought up by Willow Angel Cloud9 in one of my recent theory videos. Shout out to them. I will leave a link in the description to their channel if you want to check it out. Yeah. Basically, we're going to get started on talking about how these sort of things go. Basically, I'm saying basically a lot. Hit the Target, if you don't know, is the main villain inside of the YouTube series Stampy's Lovely World, starring Stampy and helpers William Beaver, Polly Reindeer, and Fizzy Elephant. Hit the Target is joined by Beaver Dash, and yeah, they try to steal the dogs and take over the world, basically. And they fail most of the time. They've nearly succeeded at least once. Maybe more. You never know. But basically, they are Hit the Target and Viva Dash are two villains who want to, quote-unquote, save the world. And this saving the world mentality sort of is corrupted by Hit the Target's ego and selfishness and self-centeredness and his desire for power, I guess. Basically, let's get into the video. Alright. The first point that we want to make is that his target has little to no remorse about anything that he does. And like in many of the attacks, you can see that he doesn't really care how he gets what he wants, just as long as he gets what he wants. Most of the time, we're trying to trap Stampy somewhere, but yeah, I have a few examples to pinpoint this a little bit further. The first example is in Friends and Foes, where he uses Stampy's trust back in ICU with Viva Dash when he appointed her as a helper, not knowing that she worked for the target. He used her to destroy his trust and has no remorse for that because, yeah, he doesn't care how he gets it done as long as he's able to stop Stampy and steal the dogs and, yeah, even if he destroys them in the world. Because spawning the Wither, if Stampy and William Beaver hadn't been able to take it out, it probably would have gone further out from the castle and destroyed a lot more than it did. In Gatecrashers, the next example, he did a pretty cruel thing by halting the party that was happening in that episode in Fizzy Fun, kidnapping the helpers and then getting Viva Dash to lure Stampy into a trap, which he eventually did get out of. And yeah, he didn't realize that once the helpers got out, thanks to Stampy's smart thinking, like, he didn't think that Stampy would find a way to get them out. You know? He thinks a lot less of Stampy and his helpers. Especially the helpers. They're the last thing he thinks about, which is a fault. And the next example would be hero helpers. Basically, if you haven't watched the 2-part episode in I Lost, he shot Stampy down with a cannon out of his helicopter and forced him into a sort of prison-like thing. Like if he tried to do anything, either he would die or Barnaby would be pushed into a pool of lava. Yeah. Basically, hit the target made the situation very complicated and didn't seem to care whatsoever. Basically, I keep saying basically a lot. Hit the target, seemed to enjoy teasing Stampy by eating food in front of him when he was hungry, and then threatening Barnaby with his bow, threatening to shoot him. And yeah, even though it was mainly just to get a reaction out of Stampy, he didn't really care. Just yeah. The next and final example for this part of the remorse section is Mirror World, and the example is basically trapping Stampy inside of a mirrored version of his world with no way of escape. He knew it would happen. He may or may not have done a little deception with Mirror Stampy, or Yamst, if you want to get campily. I don't think that sounds right anyway. I'm tried. Well, no. It's okay. Yeah, basically, he had no remorse about what happened, or didn't even care if Stampy was able to get out or not. In fact, he would have been more than happy if he had never been able to get out. If he hadn't found a way to get out. All he thinks about is himself, pretty much. Selfish, self-centered, you know, the like. The next portion of this video is that hit the target is a pathological liar, which is basically someone who lies for a reason. It's not a white lie. Basically, to spare someone's feelings, it's more of a lie that's meaning to hurt or deceive or manipulate, which we will get into later in this video. The first example, as you could probably think right off the bat, if you are a well-known fan of Stampy, is Revelation and the First Cake. Basically, Hit the Target lied to Stampy that everything had been a misunderstanding and he was trying to save the dogs, only so that Stampy would be able to bring him back so he could steal the dogs in the first cake, betraying Stampy. The next one is Fight and Flight and A Christmas Rescue. This time, Hit the Target lied to the Lunar Friends about intentions for Stampy, wanting to surprise him with something, kidnapping one of his helpers, and then the Lunar Friends, realizing their mistake, deciding to help Stampy in the end. And yeah. And saving the world, he attempts to lie to Fizzy Elephant that he was their friend all along, only to be interrupted by Stampy and ambushed by the other helpers, basically trying to get on Fizzy's side. He's a little naive, but I mean, he knows when there's a problem. When there's a problem. Oh, yeah. The next portion is making extremely risky choices. And yeah. One of these examples is in Friends and Foes, where he'd spawn the Wither, endangering everyone in the world, as I've said already. Pretty much. Revenge, he created a satellite to destroy the buildings in the lovely world, only to have Stampy turn it on him and blow up their castle. Yeah. These are only a few examples, though. Darkness, the most recent one. Viva Dash creates a machine for his target to cover up the world in darkness, but failing to realize that Stampy could use it against him by putting his castle in darkness. Pretty much. I mean, they could easily get rid of it. It's not an issue, but the fact that they added that as a quote-unquote flaw. Like, originally, I can see why they would have done it, but in the end, they did not expect what Stampy did. They did not expect him to have the elytra, which is another thing that his target very much underestimates. Like, imagine if Stampy didn't have the elytra, you would be screwed. Yeah. Next thing is that his target is very manipulative, deceptive, and yeah. He may or may not be using it on Viva Dash. Basically, that's a theory on his own. Basically, one idea is that that Viva Dash is doing it willingly, agreeing with his morals, or his target is lying to her and manipulating her and using her for his benefit, doing practically nothing, pretty much. And yeah, we don't know because we don't see that side of the story that much, if ever. We don't see Viva's perspective or its target's perspective. Yeah. Except for nightmares, sort of, not really, but sort of. Yeah. We have yet to literally see from their perspective how things go. Anyway. My revelation! Sorry, my eye is itchy. Revelation. He basically guilt trips Stampy into bringing him to life, pretty much. And, like, yeah, you technically killed me, and only you can bring me back. And, yeah, I was trying to save the dogs from you because you were intentionally killing them, even though he wasn't. And, yeah. And in saving the world, he had an entire speech about guilt-tripping Stampy, making him feel small while he feels big, and basically pointing out all the faults in logic and the fact that taking away his dogs would take away his power, and the fact that he's an overlord, and then, yeah, that he gets all the credit for everything, even though that's not necessarily true. Yeah. It wasn't a fun time. Mirror world, basically forcing Stampy into a mirror version of his world, not knowing if he would ever get out of it, or if Salesforce was noticed that he's gone, because his target told him that he sounded so sure that the helpers wouldn't be able to recognize that he was even missing. Yeah. It's just a little painful. Anyway, in conclusion, we can conclude with this theory that, yes, his target can be a pathological liar. He's shown many signs of this idea. He has no remorse about anything he does. Doesn't care how it affects anyone else. Whether it's Stampy, William, Polly, Fizzy, the Lunar Friends, Viva Dash, the dogs, the parrot, and all the other characters in the world. He doesn't care at all about that. He's a pathological liar. He will lie to get his way. He will lie to cover his tracks. He will take all the credit and pretty much. And yeah, we don't see too much more examples other than how he talks. Like, we don't know if he's, like, we don't know how much of a liar he is, but enough with the stuff that we do have. And he is a good liar, he's a good deceiver, he's good at deceiving people and manipulating people for his own goals and own gain. And yeah, he basically makes risky moves to try to get what he wants, not always realizing the consequences, like nearly destroying the world, or maybe one day being a tear in between dimensional time and space or something. I don't know, that might not happen, but I mean, that would be a big problem if that happens, but it probably won't. Like, yeah, he has little remorse and always takes risks. He goes out of his way to escape. He used a cannon that may or may not have been made by Viva Dash. He used boats many times. He's disappeared. He's done other stuff. It's not that hard to believe that Hit the Target might have other plans. Definitely is a potential candidate. But, of course, we could all be proven wrong. But it does seem pretty logical, doesn't it? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little video, even though, it's basically just a video. Yeah, don't know what else to do. What do you think? What do you think? Do you agree with me that Hit the Target may or may not be a psychopath? Or do you think that there's something we're missing where the target may not be considered a psychopath? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like on it. And hey, if you want more theories, feel free to let me know. And yeah, I will see you in the next one, whenever that might be. Goodbye.